Young Leo traced the faded pattern on the old bamboo kite frame, his small fingers remembering the calloused hands that once guided his grandfather had built this kite years ago. Painting its silk with swirling blues and golds like captured sunlight, every spring Saturday, they'd walked to Meadow's end hill, the wind whispering promises through the tall grass. Grandfather taught Leo everything: how to feel the breeze's direction on a wet finger, how to run with the wind, not against it, and how to let the string slip through his fingers just enough to let the kite dance free. It was more than flying. It was their secret language, a soaring conversation between earth and sky, filled with laughter and quiet understanding. The kite seemed alive then, a vibrant creature straining towards the endless blue, carrying their shared joy upwards on the currents. Those afternoons smelled of warm earth and possibility, golden hours Leo treasured deep within his heart. But last winter, a stillness had settled over grandfather's chair by the fire, deeper and colder than any frost. The house felt too quiet, the familiar creaks and sighs amplified by his absence. Leo kept the kite carefully in his room, leaning against the wall, a silent monument to brighter days he couldn't bring himself to touch it. Spring arrived, painting the meadows in wildflowers, but the hills seemed daunting, lonely without grandfather's steady presence beside him. The memory of their shared laughter echoed strangely in the empty space, making the vibrant world outside feel muted and distant. He missed the rumble of grandfather's stories, the knowing glint in his eye as the kite caught the wind, the simple comfort of his hand on Leo's shoulder as they watched their creation climb. One blustery afternoon, a gust rattled Leo's windowpane with surprising force. It sounded almost insistent, like fingers tapping. Looking out, he saw the tall grasses on Meadow's end hill bending and swirling in a wild, joyous dance. A strange warmth bloomed in his chest, pushing aside the heavy sadness almost without conscious thought. He found himself carefully lifting the bamboo and silk kite. Its familiar weight felt comforting in his hands. He walked slowly up the familiar path, the wind tugging playfully at his hair and clothes, urging him forward. Reaching their special spot, the very summit where grandfather always declared the wind perfect, Leo felt a tremor of both grief and anticipation. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath smelling of damp earth and blossoms, and whispered, "For you, grandfather." With a determined push against the strong wind, Leo launched the kite. It wobbled for a heartbeat, catching its breath, then soared. It didn't just fly. It exulted. The blues and golds blazed against the vast canvas of the sky, brighter than Leo ever remembered. It climbed higher and faster than it ever had before, the string humming a powerful, resonant song in his hands that vibrated up his arms. It wasn't fighting the wind, it was dancing with it, performing impossible loops and dives before surging upwards again, a streak of defiant joy aimed straight at the heart of the immense, cloud-dappled azure expanse. Leo laughed aloud, a sound of pure wonder, feeling an incredible surge of connection as he fed the string out faster and faster. Higher and higher the kite ascended, becoming a brilliant, distant jewel against the deepening blue. It flew past the wheeling hawks, past the highest wispy clouds that looked like pulled cotton candy, past where Leo's eyes could truly focus. He squinted, shielding his eyes, his heart pounding with a mixture of awe and disbelief. It seemed to be aiming for the very curve of the sky itself, that impossible point where blue met infinity. Then a sudden, tremendous gust, stronger than any before, slammed into the kite. Leo felt a sharp, unmistakable ping travel down the taut string right into his palms. Before he could react, the string snapped. He gasped, stumbling backwards, the loose end whipping uselessly in his grasp. His beautiful kite, grandfather's kite, was free. Leo watched, breath catching in his throat, a sharp pang of loss mixing with profound wonder. Freed from its earthly tether, the kite didn't falter. It seemed to gather the sunlight itself, glowing with an ethereal, internal radiance. It continued its impossible ascent, shrinking rapidly, a tiny, defiant spark of blue and gold hurtling towards the distant, shimmering boundary where the vast dome of the sky met the profound, velvety darkness of space beyond it pierced the highest veil of atmosphere, a final, brilliant flare against the immense curvature of the world, and then, silently, gracefully, it slipped over the edge. It vanished from the sight of the earth. Not falling, but sailing onwards into the boundless, star-speckled forever. A profound silence descended, deeper than any Leo had ever known. The wind stilled the meadow, held its breath then, soft as dandelion seeds on a breeze. Words seemed to form not in his ears, but directly within his heart, warm and clear and unmistakably grandfather's. Thank you, Leo, you let it fly true. I'm waiting beyond the edge, where the sky is endless. Watch for me in the sunset's gold. In the whisper of the wind through the pines, I am always with you. A wave of pure, warm peace washed over Leo, dissolving the sharp edges of his grief, replacing them with a comforting, golden glow. He knew, with absolute certainty, that grandfather wasn't truly gone. He was just elsewhere, beyond the beautiful edge. Leo stood on Meadow's end hill long after the last trace of gold faded from the western sky, replaced by the first twinkling stars. He didn't feel empty. He felt filled with a quiet, luminous warmth. He looked up at the vast, star-strewn expanse, no longer feeling its immense distance as a separation, but as a connection somewhere. Beyond the edge he could see, grandfather's kite sailed on, a tiny vessel of love and memory on an eternal journey. Leo touched the frayed end of the strings still in his hand, a small, precious reminder. He smiled softly, feeling the gentle night breeze caress his cheek, carrying the faint scent of earth and distant rain. It felt like a kiss from the sky, a promise whispered on the wind. He knew he would come back to this hill, not with sadness, but with a heart full of stories to send upwards, carried on the wings of the wind, towards the beautiful, boundless edge.